The ITF World Championships, where you can see the best of each nation competing against each other in patterns. In the finals, you see the best of the best performing almost flawless patterns, so much so that it's often difficult to pick the winner. Although these competitors have excellent agility, balance and power, with the trained eye, there are some mistakes that can be spotted. I will show you 7 common mistakes that these top competitors sometimes make. Mistake number 1. Dropping too low at the beginning of your sine wave motion. In an attempt to exaggerate the sine wave motion, competitors often drop too low at the relaxed stage of the sine wave, just before performing the technique. Most often your body should drop slightly, but not to the point where you're actually squatting. Mistake number 2. Pivoting with the heel. When turning, you must always pivot with the ball of the foot. Sometimes competitors start off pivoting with the ball of the foot, but at some point during the turn, they transfer the weight to the heel. You have less control of your balance if you pivot with the heel. Mistake number 3. Kicking upwards with front snap kicks. A very common mistake is to direct the front snap kick in an upward curve instead of directing it in a forward straight line path towards the target. The mistake is due to not lifting the knee high enough prior to the kick. In the Taekwondo Encyclopedia, it clearly states that for front snap kicks, the knee of the kicking leg must be brought sharply toward the chest prior to kicking. It also states that the attacking tool must reach the target in a straight line. Mistake number 4. Shrugging the shoulders. In an attempt to gain more power, competitors sometimes shrug their shoulders. This is because they're not using the core to gain power by jerking the abdomen. When done properly, the shoulders can remain relaxed. Mistake number 5. Intermittent pausing during a movement. According to General Choi, one of the key points when performing patterns is the exercise should be performed in a rhythmic movement with an absence of stiffness. Therefore, the movements need to be fluid and flowing without pauses until the end of the technique. This intermittent pausing often happens after the second stage of the sine wave motion, just as the body raises and just before accelerating the technique. There are points where your limbs slow down as they change direction, but they should not stop and pause. Another instance where this intermittent pausing happens quite often is during a turning motion. Staying relaxed is the key to flowing motion. Mistake number 6. Incorrect foot position with back piercing kicks. Many competitors perform a back piercing kick like a side piercing kick. They turn their body towards the target too much, and this results in their foot position looking like this, with the foot pointing very slightly downwards like a side piercing kick. For a back piercing kick, the body should not turn much at all, so the target is behind the attacker. So the kicking foot should end up facing downwards at an angle of around 45 degrees. Mistake number 7. Pausing too long between movements. In normal motion, there should be a brief pause between movements, but often competitors will pause too long, especially with side piercing kicks. Long pauses tend to break the flow of the pattern. Although I've mentioned 7 common mistakes that top competitors make in patterns, take nothing away from them. They've worked very hard to reach a very high standard. And if you're striving to become the next world champion in patterns, perhaps this video helped you in learning which mistakes to avoid. But just avoiding these 7 mistakes is not going to guarantee you success. There are many other technical aspects of patterns which these top competitors have already excelled in, not to mention their high level of physical conditioning in terms of flexibility, power, strength and accuracy they've already achieved. So if you want to become a world champion, you're going to have to work very hard. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.